I think, you know, this thing is being over-magnified. There is really no dispute, you know, or rivalry between the Senate and the National Assembly.
Mheshimiwa, there's too much noise. You're dishonest tonight.
If there
You're
is
dishonest tonight.
No, you know, when you are siblings, Ken, it is normal. People will, you know, have their own jokes within the family. I personally even doubt that the Senate can actually go to court to sue the National Assembly and vice versa, because then it would be Parliament
But they have done that. They have done that, Mheshimiwa.
It would be Parliament
suing itself. But they have done that.
They did that
yes.
before they recognized we are one Parliament. Okay. I doubt they are going to
do it again. Let me put the question to Mheshimiwa Linturi. Sitting in the Senate, and you're a veteran legislator, you've been there for a while. Do you get the sense that the National Assembly is undermining the Senate?
Thank you for that good question. And from the beginning, associate myself with the opening remarks of my good friend Senator Kaluma, and I thank you for inviting him, because he's more sober, he's more independent in terms of thinking, and more objective than most of the legislators in the National Assembly. And I would want to say that since I agree with him on what Article 93, 94, 95, and 96 is all about, I would want to mention that whenever we are looking at these rules, we must also be in a position to look at them in the context of a bicameral parliament in this republic, because that is the stage at which we are in, and say that we do not want this matter really magnified, as Kaluma is saying, because the sentiments of a few rogue members that who do not even understand the basic principle on how you are supposed to interpret this constitution, and how the rules of the different houses are supposed to be to operate, then we really cannot condemn the whole house of the National Assembly as a house that has rolled its sleeves to fight the Senate. I would want to give an example to put the matter I brought about in proper context. That, like, for example, when I had the debate last time, when I think it's the majority leader, I don't know, who said, or who was trying to warn the cabinet secretaries by telling them that they should never appear before the Senate to really sympathize with this failure to understand what the Constitution talks about. You will find in very many instances, and this is why I am saying that we must look at the Constitution in totality and not only in regard to those articles, because like when you look at Article 153, sub-Article 3, on the role of the cabinet secretaries, you will find that despite what the leader of majority was trying to say in the House, that particular provision says that cabinet secretaries shall or will report to answer any matter that falls within their domain to any committee, so either in the National Assembly or in the Senate.
So you are attributing this to lack of knowledge?
I am attributing it completely without shame. Okay. That is the failure or lack of knowledge on the part of most of the members. Okay. Because there are members that are good, but the members that respect.
The person you're talking about, Senator, yes, is a 3-time member of Parliament and a majority leader in the National Assembly.
I would want you to make that that conclusion, or probably be able to judge him in the context or in relation to his sentiments vis-a-vis Article 153, sub-Article 3. Because he's telling people...
Which is very important, because you always say the law is clear. I'd like to see the interpretation, and I'm glad I have 4 lawyers on the table today. Let me go to Joy. I feel these 2 gentlemen are totally out of order tonight. I feel they want to downplay this. I feel they're dishonest.
You know, the problem with having friends on the same table is that they become economical with the truth.
Yes.
For the sake of their own camaraderie, let me say. Because when I listen to the members of Parliament and the Senator, and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, like, really, 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 as Kibicho said, give us a bit, lend us some credence so that we have a bit of intelligence. The people who are speaking today were not some random rogue members of parliament. It was the leaders of majority in both houses and the leader of minority, no less. These are people who are not only well-versed, they're well respected within the party ranks, and you would think that they would be speaking on behalf of not just themselves, but of the parties they represent, and anybody who falls within that pecking order. Anybody who's whipped by their chief whip would be bound by those statements. So what we are hearing on the table today is absolute and utter hogwash. There is a conflict between the Senate and the National Assembly, and this thing started when we were drafting the Constitution.
All right.
Because Kenyans envisaged a Senate that was going to have oversight over the National Assembly. The members of the National Assembly who were then sitting looked at it and said, we cannot let this happen. When they went to Naivasha, what did they do? They bastardized what we had decided in Bomas and had this thing where we create a Senate, but it's a Senate that does absolutely and utterly nothing. It just sits there as a nyumba ya wazee.
Really?
And when people were elected...
That's not true.
And when the first election happened and people went to the Senate and realized that they were twiddling their thumbs with absolutely nothing much to do but waiting for bills that are touching on counties, the Senate are getting creative about how do we justify sitting here full time, because that was when there was a talk of maybe they should sit only 4 times a year, maybe they should sit only part time. And that is where the trouble started.
Okay.
That this constitution was drafted specifically to emasculate the Senate. Now that the Senate is wise to the fact that they were drafted as a lower house having an upper house name, they are trying to find a way to claw back.
Okay.
And
so,
in trying to claw back is when they're trying to create roles to make themselves relevant, to keep themselves up front. And now National Assembly is pushing back and saying, no, this is our terrain, don't come here. This is our section, don't come here. And there is definitely a conflict.